Hello everyone and welcome to the final day of the 2020 Fatal Blowout Ancient Cave Tournament. I'm Shadow Killer, I'm going to be your host today, and we've got two really good races lined up for you. We first off have the wildcard race, which is the chance for 4 of our second placed runners to make it into the finals. So whoever wins that wildcard race will be put into the finals for a chance at becoming the Fatal Blowout champion. Second up, we will have the finals race directly after the wildcard race. Now, if you've been here the past couple weekends, you know what's going on. If not, I'm going to go over the rules and everything so I can catch you up to speed. So let's just jump right into that. The rules. How does this race work? So this is a timed race, but not necessarily a speed race, so to speak. So each race will have a 2-hour time limit. If the runner can make it to the final floor before the 2-hour mark, they may fight the boss without any sort of time restraint. Party and Capsule monster must be chosen before the race begins and may not be changed for the duration of the race. So when you start, you're just Maxim, and you can choose your other party members and your Capsule monster. And once you choose those members, they have to stay the same for the entire 2-hour limit. The runner with the most points at the end of the time limit will be declared the winner. Now I'm going to go over how points are earned, but at any time during the race, you want to take a look at them. You can type !points, and it'll bring up the score sheet and how the points are earned, and you can take a look at them there. The winner of each round will advance to the finals. And the second place will advance to the wildcard race, which you're about to see right now. So how are they going to earn those points? Well, let's take a quick look. If the runners use Tia or Salon instead of Guy, they're going to get 5 points. You can't use both and get 10. It's one or the other in that instance. If they decide to use Lexus instead of Guy, they're going to get 15 points. If they go into the cave without using Artie, they're going to get 10 points. For the Capsule monsters, if they choose Gels or Blaze, they're going to get 5 points. If they use Gusto, they're going to get 10 points. If they evolve their Capsule monster to the M form, which is the final form, they're going to get 5 points. If they fight and win against a forced blue mimic fight, they get 5 points. Now, what is defined as a forced fight is if the if the mimic is in a doorway that you can't get around, and that's the only way to go, or if the blue mimic is on top of the stairs. So if you can go another way, or if you can run from the fight and get by, that doesn't count. It has to be a forced win. For any iris items that the runners find, they're going to get 5 points each. If they kill an evil fish and get a charm fruit, you're going to get 5 points. The charm fruit drops from the evil fish. It's a pretty good chance, but they are kind of dangerous enemies for where they are. If you amass a total of at least 700,007 gold, you're going to get 10 points. That's harder than it sounds. Although, you don't use gold for anything in the ancient caves, so you get it pretty quick. That's still a really high amount, so they'll have to actually try for that. That's not something that's just going to happen on its own. Obtain a gold eye is 5 points. You can either get that in a chest or from a gold dragon drop, if you really want to go that route for some reason. Find and equip the ice hairband. Find and equip the Dia ring. Both of those require a female character in the party to equip those on. Use the Megaquake IP attack that comes from the Catfish Jewel, which is a blue chest item. Dive into the cave every 10 floors. So every 10 floors that the runners progress, they're going to get 10 points. So at floor 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. until the final dungeon or final floor, where the total will be 100 points. Defeat the jelly before the 2-hour mark is 10 points. So if you can make it down and defeat the jelly before that timer hits 2 hours, then you're going to get an extra 10 points. Defeat the jelly fast. So for every 15 minutes, before the 2-hour mark, you're going to get an extra 5 points. So an hour 45, an hour 30. Before those marks is an extra 5 points. Defeat the jelly in 2 turns. This is very difficult and takes very specific equipment. But if you're able to do it in 2 turns, you're going to get an extra 20 points. Defeat the jelly without using the Fatal Blow IP attack. Now, the Fatal Blow IP attack comes from the Decker Blade, which does 50% of the current enemy's HP. So the jelly has a little less than 10,000 HP, so it'll cut it down to about 5 in 1 attack. And then defeat the jelly at all, you're going to get 100 points. All right. So that like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And if you have any questions, you can ask in chat. There's going to be lots of people that'll be able to answer your questions. Or if you type !points, you'll be able to see how those points are earned. Now, let me introduce the runners of the wildcard race. So first off, we've got Traversal, who I believe has the fastest jelly kill time ever as far as the Ancient Cave Fatal Blowout tournament goes. So he did get the fastest kill, but because this is points-based, he didn't quite sneak out the complete win. But watch out for him going fast again and earning those points. We've got W Reflect. Had a solid run, but just got beat out a little bit. Again, the time isn't everything, so watch out for Reflect to maybe take his time a little bit more than last time. So unfortunately, the runner Dragon CEO wasn't able to make it today. So we have Solar Cell 007 stepping in to take his place. Solar Cell, great runner, put on a great show last time. So I'm very excited to see what he can do. We do miss Dragon. Dragon is a former Ancient Cave Fatal Blowout champion, but he did have another commitment. So we're happy to have Solar with us today. And last but certainly not least, we have Mrs. Mike, who, like I mentioned last week, was, for me at least, relatively unknown, but came out very strong and played a very good game. So watch out for her. She's definitely one to be watched. Now, this is the wild card round, and it wouldn't be very wild if we didn't do anything to make this, just a little bit different than the other plays. So, first off, there's one rule change. If the runners decide that they don't want to equip any sort of deadly weapon, Fatal Pick, Deadly Sword, Deadly Rod, and they complete the cave without using any deadly weapons, they're going to get an extra 10 points. Now, 10 points is a pretty big deal, so that's going to be an interesting choice. But the real fun begins now. So, we mentioned earlier that we wanted them to, pick their party and don't change it for the rest of the run. Well, we're going to do things just a little bit different today. Today, runners, we're choosing your party for you. Now, here's the deal. We didn't make this impossible. All right. We tried to make this at least a little fair. You're guaranteed to have Maxim and Decker, okay? You're guaranteed Maxim and Decker. The other two is up to fate. And we're also going to choose your capsule monster for you. So, all right, without further delay, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, sorry. All right, let's just do a few little spins, see what happens. See if we get something good. And we're going to get Maxim, Decker, Guy, Salon. That's not terrible. It could be a lot worse. All right, guys. That could be a lot worse. I think you got kind of lucky there, and I'm tempted to respin it, to be honest. But that's your team. Maxim, Decker, Guy, and Salon. All right, and let's see who our lucky capsule monster is. We've got... Oh, yeah. We got Flash. All right. So, runners, Maxim, Decker, Guy, Salon, and Flash. I'm sorry, but not really. All right. There you have it. We are all set to start the Ancient Cave Fatal Blowout wildcard round. So, Runners, if you are ready, I'm going to give you a countdown. We will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There's going to be a little bit of a delay there. And just know that although the timer on screen is the one that we're going to pay attention to, I also have their streams up. So if there is a little discrepancy, we'll go by the timer on the runners' screens as well. All right, but that's all I got. I'm going to pass it off to our wonderful commentators. Once again, we have Dank Meats and The Squealer to commentate this race. Guys, take it away.
What's up, people? Welcome to the greatest race we're ever going to see, because this party is very slow. So I'm excited.
And I'm glad Dank talked first because I'm still recovering from the Wheel of Misfortune. Awesome surprise. I'm so glad it was a surprise to me as well.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you real bad what was going to happen, but I figured you'd enjoy it more if you saw it live, so... But yeah,
by the way, anybody who plays this recreationally, if you want access to the Wheel of Misfortune, check us out in our Discord channel and we can give you a link.
Yeah, this is I don't want to say it's one of the worst teams you can have, because you do have a tanky front line with Decker and Guy, but no agility early on is real rough. I think the best thing that people can hope for right now is maybe like a Dragon Spear, because then that kind of makes them turn into a fast agility character. So, I mean, they're probably not going to find one, but if they do, that kind of saves this whole run for sure.
Absolutely, and we're going to keep an eye out here in the first 9 especially. There are little items that you can get that just boost your agility a bit, and if they can get like 1 or 2 of those, and then maybe even a blue chest that ups their agility, that'll help them recover pretty quickly from the lack of Artie or Tia.
Yeah, this party setup's actually pretty good for the jelly. You can get a lot of options between these characters, but yeah, getting to the jelly is going to be very, very difficult. But I mean, I don't know. I have faith. I have faith these people can pull it off.
Yeah, so we already saw one item that we might see at the jelly, if anybody can make it to the jelly. That's a water ring for Reflect and Dank. I'm not sure if we got to explain this our last time commentating, but if you find an elemental ring in the first 9 floors, that amplifies spells of that element. So Reflect is now keeping an eye out for the water spell Dragon, because that's something he could use against the jelly with his water ring.
Yeah, unfortunately there was a bug when they ported the game over to English. I think it's only in the US version or something, but rocks, rings, helmets, shields, everything besides weapons, armors, and like consumables only spawn on the first 9 floors. So, you know, it's kind of good in a marathon to take your time in the first 9 floors and hope to get like some of the cool rings and stuff, like water ring or fire ring, thunder ring, all those things. So definitely gonna see them take it a bit slow here. Another thing that's going to be interesting about this is we should be able to see, yeah, because Salon's in the party, they can use literally any blue chest item they find, so that's going to be cool. One of the big things that sucks about the cave sometimes is when you're running the standard any percent party, you don't have any of the girls with you, and when you find a blue chest item that's a girl only item, you just kind of have to not use it, which can feel bad sometimes. Also, Curse Lifter for Reflect, that's going to be very nice if you can find a Deadly Rod or a Deadly Sword.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're kind of in the same situation as in any percent, where Selin essentially replaces Artie as your deadly dealer. Of course, the trick being you have to get her to those experience levels where she finally gains her agility.
Yeah, she's real slow early on. At higher levels, which is, you know, attainable in a marathon run, she can get pretty fast, but she's real slow early, so this is going to be it's going to require some finesse to get around some of these floors and not engage monsters that are going to outspeed the party.
Did they say that the runners had to announce whether they were or weren't going to use a deadly, or is that just something they figure at the end?
I assume that they just don't equip one. I don't think they
Gotcha.
have to announce it, but I might be wrong on that. So
Yeah, I think there's no way anybody would have gone for that not knowing what their party was.
yeah,
So it must be at the end.
yeah, especially finding out that you're running this party, I assume everybody's going to want to equip a deadly if they have to. Because doing a bunch of like normal attacks and spell casts after Archfiends go is definitely not the ideal situation.
Yeah, as Sinister is pointing out in chat, getting a deadly sword here, and you probably mentioned as well, ain't that bad right now, because you've got, like you said, the strong front line. Someone's going to be slow for a while, so maybe Maxim ends up being your deadly dealer with this party.
Yeah, normally you don't really want to equip a deadly sword almost ever. I know Bamboo would disagree with that, but yeah, it's just not worth unless you can remove the deadly. So the deadly weapons, if you don't know, they have an 80% chance to kill instantly any target they hit, as long as it's not like undead or cores or something. And the items are also cursed, which means once you put them on, the only way to remove them is to use a curse lifter. And yeah, normally in an 80% run, you don't want to equip a cursed weapon on Maxim because he has so many better options for the jelly. But in this case, he's your fastest deadly user for most of the floors, so it could be the move here. And we saw one also on Solar Screen too, so that's definitely a good find.
All right, so we're down to just 4 streams for this one. Last week we had 5, but already I'm missing something. So thanks to chat for mentioning that Solar found a Thunder Ring. That's 2 elemental rings now for 2 of our runners. Again, Reflect with the Water Ring and Solar with the Thunder Ring. So Solar is now also looking for the spell Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder Ring is one of the better elemental rings too. Reflect got Water Ring, but that increases the damage that water spells will do, and Dragon is a very poor tier 3 spell compared to the rest of the tier 3s. So Thunder Ring, though, Thunder is the best tier 3, so if you want to boost the damage of any of your tier 3 spells, Thunder is the one. Deadly Sword for Reflect, and he has a Curse Lifter, so that is massive right there.
Yep.
Oh, and a Fatal Pick. Wow, Reflect. Reflect runs the cave once or twice every 300 years, and every time it's just insane luck. The guy's got to deal with like the devil or something, I think.
I think he just feeds off of those of us who do stream.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, another thing that's we might want to mention. So the Capsule Monster Flash is probably not the best Capsule Monster, but they're all forced to bring Flash, obviously, because of the wheel. And Flash usually doesn't really do anything. I guess when you evolve them high enough, they can sometimes sort of kind of do damage, but early on, the only thing they bring is like a very, very light heal that usually gets cast on a full health party member anyway, so it's not usually what you want to see.
Yep, down in our down in our bottom right,
Yeah.
Mrs. Mike found kind of an awkward item, a tall shield. Of course, it helps you with defense throughout the cave, but its usefulness against the jelly is kind of questionable. It depends on the layout of your team, and it's hard to think of a situation where you would use it.
Yeah, so one of the mechanics of this game, for those that are unfamiliar, is the IP bar. You can see on the battle screen there's HP and MP, which is typical to any RPG or JRPG, but then you have IP, which is Ikari points, or you can think of them as like item points. And though that bar increases based on the damage that you take, and then you can use special abilities that come on items with that bar. So the tall shield, only Decker can use it. but also only Decker can use the Decker Blade, and if you find a Decker Blade, you kind of want to use your IP on the Jelly for that instead of Tall Shield. So Tall Shield would be cool, you know, if someone else could use it, but being on Decker, it's not really that useful.
Like, the only thing I could think of were if you knew that Decker was doing, like, Sky Sword plus Hedora, which we call Skydora, while Guy had, like, a Gades Blade.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if that's enough, because isn't Hedora rock 85%, or am I just thinking everything is 85% these days?
You can do one Battle Lust, I know, when you're going to use a Hedora. You just can't do two Battle Lusts. And I'm assuming the Tall Shield's IP is the same?
I'm not positive. I know it's Berserker, so it might actually be more, but I don't know. I never use it because obviously
Yep.
Decker Blade, so. Yeah, so another thing that's interesting about this game, for those that are unfamiliar, is that the movement in this game is actually one of the most important things you can learn. So you can see all the monsters on the screen. There are no real random encounters like some JRPGs. And every single monster has a set type of movement that you can kind of manipulate around. So learning all the monster movement and being able to get through without, you know, the extra levels of killing everything in the cave is very, very important. Especially in a speed run where you're kind of doing everything at a low level, you want to know how to avoid as many fights as possible. So we're going to be looking out for people doing some pretty cool movement if they get into like a treasure room or some kind of a puzzle movement room.
Did Mrs. Mike just escape from cores? I'm not sure. Her stream's a little bit choppy, so I'm not exactly sure that that's what happened. But I've seen a lot of cores on a lot of screens right now, and that's, of course, an easy early way to get experience.
Okay, so yeah, chat's saying you cannot use Tall Shield and Hedora because Hedora is 77 and Berserker is 26.
Making it even more awkward.
Yeah. And it comes down to, like, I guess what, something like Old Sword. I don't know, what's Mythblade? I don't remember what Mythblade IP is either, but there's something you can use with Tall Shield. But at the end of the day, if you have a Decker Blade, even though there's points for not using Decker Blade on the Jelly, no one's probably going to throw away their chances of a Jelly kill just to try and get those extra points, because it is very difficult to kill the boss of the Ancient Cave without Decker Blade. Speaking of the boss, you want to
go ahead.
Tell people what the boss is if they're not familiar?
So that's what we're going to be talking a lot about as people make it through their way through the cave here, is getting themselves set up for the final boss of the cave, the Jelly. And what they're looking for generally are fractional attacks and multiple attacks. So we'll be looking at that as we go through the cave.
Yeah, the Jelly is it has 10,000 HP and you have 3 turns to kill it. So you need very, very powerful weapons to be able to do it. So we're going to be looking for some very specific stuff for sure.
And again, if you're casually running the cave, you're not really interested in speed running, the Discord channel is actually still for you. There's a lot of tools on there, and like Dank said, the enemy movements are one of the harder things to learn. One of the easier things to learn with all the resources we have now is learning what it takes to kill the Jelly. There's actually a Jelly kill calculator. There's a list of items that do various things, and you can kind of figure out what it takes. In fact, one of our newest runners from this year's event is Light Force 4. I actually checked out his stream earlier this week, and he had a really good grasp already of what it was going to take to beat the Jelly, but you could tell probably where he needed to learn the most was enemy movements.
Yeah, there are a lot of movement types in this game, and it definitely takes a little while to master most of them. And on top of that, we're still learning more and more about movement, because there are some things that were never quite clear. I guess one thing being the 2 free moves after ninjas was just recently, I don't know if it was recently discovered, but we recently found the exact reason why you get that. And yeah, so there's definitely still work being done on the game too. There's a lot of stuff here to uncover.
And we're still trying to get a feel for how each runner is going to treat their team, because their team is not optimal right now. Are they going to take their time? Are they still going to kind of push it so they can have time later to save, to beat difficult rooms, difficult enemies, pick up chests where better stuff is available later in the cave? Right now, everybody seems like they're on about the same trajectory.
Yeah, so since there's 99 floors and there's a 2-hour time limit, a good pace to kind of go is about 10 minutes per 10 floors. So that would get you to the jelly at about an hour and 40. And that gives you about 20 minutes of wiggle room in case you encounter something bad, like a treasure room that takes up too much time or something like that. So everybody seems to be on a decent pace. Travic right now in the lead. You can tell by the tile sets. So everybody except Travic is in the tower tile set, which is the first 20 floors, and Travic is now in the dungeon tile set, which is floors 21 to 40.
You can also tell that Travic is struggling here, though. I think he's low leveled, and it's taking him almost a full round to defeat one Snick. So he might be trying to make his way, I don't know if he would do it with this team, but make his way to the Providence to earn the Providence bonus. He's just in a tough situation. He's at a level 11, so he must have gotten at least one floor.
Yeah, so the entire cave is randomly generated, and sometimes you just don't get what you need early if you're going kind of fast. And there's an item called Providence, which is the only way to leave the cave. It's a single item. You can only find it once, so if you throw it away or something, you cannot leave the cave until you beat it. And one of the point incentives is to use Providence to leave the cave and then re-enter the cave. So if we see like a particularly nasty situation for some of these runners, they might think about using Providence. Oh, by the way, Sky Sword for Travic, that is an amazing weapon.
And that's right on the heels of getting Ice Valk, which is the most valuable tier 3 spell here in the 20s. So he has an opportunity to level up if he chooses, or he may just be pushing it to the blue cores that start on floor 32.
Yeah, Sky Sword is the highest attack power weapon in the game, or at least it shares the highest attack power with, I think, another weapon or two. And if you get a Cancer Rock or a Hedora Rock, which are kind of like jewels that allow you to attack multiple times, attacking multiple times with a weapon that does that much damage on the jelly is definitely a very, very good thing to have. Another thing too is you don't get to keep your items when you leave the cave, except for things that you find in blue chests. So if you Providence out, so for example, right now, if Travic were to Providence out, he would actually keep that Sky Sword. He would keep nothing else, but he would keep anything found in a blue chest. And the Sky Sword is definitely something you would want to keep. So if he's going for those Providence points, he is set to get back up to speed very quickly. But it doesn't look like he's necessarily thinking about Providence at this point.
No, and chat pointed out he already has Champion and Rally, I believe it was. So yeah, he'll be looking to push it to see if he can make it, and then maybe if he gets stuck, would he resort to that?
Yeah, it's definitely something, like if you're going for Providence with you have enough time to get back down if you Providence sort of early, but you gotta kind of want to Providence going into the cave for those points if you're gonna do it, because if you wait too long, then you're gonna have to scramble to get back up to speed and complete the jelly in time.
Wake me up inside. We got our first Iris, I believe, for Mrs. Mike.
And she also just got a Deadly Rod, which is arguably the best, maybe not for this party, but in general in better parties, it is the best deadly weapon. Oh, and she found Trick. Yeah, wow, these people are getting some good items right now. So this party setup could actually end up working, which would be very, very cool to see.
All right, Travic moving right along, already to floor 29, so he's within shouting distance of those floor 32 blue cores, but this is also the hot spot for blue mimics. So we'll keep an eye out in the upper left.
Yeah, so certain enemies only spawn on certain floors in the cave, and there are some specific groupings of floors that we're going to be looking at runners as they try to get past. Blue Mimics is kind of the first huge roadblock. It's not too common to be blocked by them, but it can happen, and they are way more powerful than anything else in the cave at that level. So if you have to fight them, you can be in trouble. They can wipe your whole party no matter what you do. So even in 100% runs where people kill everything, they can still wipe your party no matter what level you are. So definitely gonna hope at least that no one has to kill Blue Mimics. Even though there's a point incentive, it's not something you really wish on anyone.
So far, I'm loving this new wheel of misfortune spinning for your team. We'll see how it does, and maybe it'll get used again next year or expanded. But I can't see it going into the opening rounds. That one of the joys of Fatal Blowout is that it's kind of accessible to all experience levels. As long as you feel like you can get to the jelly at some point in under 2 hours, you're good to go. Give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely really accessible for new runners. For example, in a normal like speed run kind of race, you would kind of not be too nice to new runners. But in this, we give you 2 hours, which is plenty of time if you have at least a little bit of experience in the cave. Plus, there's a lot of point incentives that don't really require anything except maybe some nice RNG or just some some strategizing. So you don't have to be some top level runner to do well in this at all. So it's definitely nice to be open to everyone.
And Traffic did a great job here of manipulating the lions. It didn't pay off. They turned on him. But he went to the next room, got below the lion, got the lion to face away from the door. So he had a really good shot there to surprise attack. It just didn't pay off, but the lion did not do any of his special attacks. So he was good to go. And he is now on the last Blue Mimic floor. Ooh, there's the stairs.
And he has to at least engage one Blue Mimic. So what's coming up right now is he doesn't have to kill the Blue Mimic next to the stairs, but he will have to fight them and probably run. They could kill his entire party.
Yeah, we'll see what experience. Last time I checked, he was at 11, but he's had a couple of kills since then.
Oh yeah, he's farming level. That's great manipulation right there on the Jurahans too. Getting them up against the chest and knowing that he can make them not turn in order to get the guaranteed surprise attack on them. So that is very nice.
And strong for Reflect, so Reflect's still in good position.
It reflects the next floor for Reflect is also Blue Mimic floors, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that. So if Travic doesn't feel like he necessarily is going to be able to fight the Mimics, he can Providence out, but I have a feeling he's going to just risk it and hope that he survives onto the stairs. However, if he does die on the stairs, there is a neat little glitch where you don't leave the cave. If you die on the stairs, the game actually triggers going to the next stairs before removing you from the cave, and that will reset him to level 1 and remove all of his equipment, but he will get to continue into the cave. So it's not easy to recover from that, but it could happen. So hopefully he just makes it out alive, but it's not over if he does die.
So did Traffic just manipulate that troll downward and was able to R-turn at the same time? I'll have to check that out in like a replay.
He was, yes. So that's the what RC has dubbed the Hadouken slash. It's
Hadouken.
It's like it's basically the Hadouken input from Street Fighter. You do right down or down right or something like that, and then slash, and you turn. No, you don't turn, but the enemy takes your second input, kind of thing. It's not too complicated, but it's a little bit hard to explain. But yeah, he definitely did the Hadouken slash right there to get a 50-50.
So when would it come in handy other than against trolls?
Honestly, I don't know. Is there anything else that moves with that movement that has a face?
It could be surprise attack.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I think that might be the only one.
Ooh, Four mimics.
4 blue mimics. Oh, but he's gonna live, I think, because Decker.
Yeah,
is
Decker
God.
looks tank.
Mm,
Tanktastic.
beautiful. So as long as Travistox can revive people, he is good, and he can. That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can come across is 4 blue mimics. Like I said, they're so strong. They're kind of like a gear check almost. Yeah. The intended way for the cave, I assume, is that the developers intended you to Providence out with a bunch of blue chests before getting too deep into the cave. That's the only way I could ever explain blue mimics being where they are.
And if you're wondering why he put Decker in the back row for his escape, or why that particular set of 4 mimics was so powerful, it's because rows do matter. Rows matter on defense and dealing damage both for the enemies and for yourself. So you saw there how powerful Frenzy was, but also the strategy in moving Decker to the back row.
Yeah, characters in the back row take less damage, but they deal less damage. So if you're trying to run, you kind of just put your tankiest member in the back row, which is always Decker. And yep, that's what got him out alive. So definitely something good to do when you're scared of dying. Also, we're on blue cores now, so I don't know if we necessarily explained what cores are, but if anyone's played that one Dragon game, Dragon Champion, Dragon Legends, or whatever has the metal slimes, that one game, it's basically like the metal slimes from that game. They're very, very hard to kill because they run from you, but when they do stay and you kill them, they give you tons of experience. And we're going to be seeing people look for cores as they go down to kind of boost their experience levels.
And Dank, you just unlocked a secret way of getting commenters to comment. It's acting like you don't know the title of a game. So good job there. I think you deserve a bonus for the finals.
Yeah, I mostly just do that to troll Shadow because he actually plays that game. So I always just pretend like, oh, you know that one Dragon game, Dragon Hero.
Dragon Schmagon.
And then he gets mad. Actually, so another thing too is for anyone coming late, we have a point system. I don't know if anybody can link that right now. Maybe Shadow, if you have the command for that or something. Yeah, there it is. Mitchie's got it. So all these runners are going to be. It's not a speedrun tournament, so if you finish first, you don't necessarily win. You're trying to get the most points at the end of the 2-hour mark, basically. And the numbers you see on the screen are not floor markers, but floors do contribute points. That's why everybody's kind of around the same right now. But yeah, we're gonna be seeing who can accumulate the most points at the end of the round, and that person will go on to the finals.
And you can see here, Travic still moving right along, getting cores, getting levels, getting cool stuff. And he's fighting the blue crabs, also known as Garbos. We don't know why, but they drop one of the key items in the cave, the Cancer Rock, which helps you to have essentially 2 attacks per round. And it pairs well with one of the fractional weapons, an old sword. I don't think he got one yet, but here's another Garbos fight coming right up.
Oh, it looks like Mrs. Mike Providence out.
All right, so they're giving her 5, so she must have Providenced.
Yeah.
She was just, I think she just didn't have a lot of resources.
I wasn't sure exactly if she was like caught by any like unfortunate situation or not, but she gets the extra points for using the Providence, and an hour and 30 to go back down the cave. It's not too bad. Especially if you got some nice blue chest items on the way down. So yeah, definitely not a bad situation.
All right, so
It
it
also
sounds like
gives you
she,
a chance to go through floors 1 through 9 to get the rings and rocks again too. But
yeah, it sounds like she didn't have a heal, which totally explains that. She already has a tier 2 spell, which is going to help her quickly move through the first 9 floors. And I think what she did lose, though, was a Deadly Rod and Trick. But when you don't have healing, you're stuck.
Right now we see Reflect trying to get cores, and they're all running. They have a 75% chance to run, I think it is. And that's why they are difficult to kill sometimes. But, you know, 4 cores, 75% chance to run. pretty common to at least get one and get all that extra experience. So you can see him right here going for more.
Yeah, and this definitely is different than when you're choosing your team. We saw in earlier rounds a lot of optimal or near optimal teams. It's going to be a lot tougher for her to catch up, but I don't know, with no healing in the situation she was in, I'm not sure I see much in the way of options there. And thanks to some of our folks in chat who are helping us keep track of what people have. It's fun to see everybody on board helping out. Thank you.
Yeah, so what you see Travic Talk's doing right now is he's farming the Garbos for the Cancer Rock that Squealer mentioned. I don't think he has one yet, but he is definitely going to try and kill every one of those blue crabs that he can, because Cancer Rock, we mentioned he had the Sky Sword earlier. The Cancer Rock goes really, really well with that.
So that even if he doesn't find a Decker Blade, there might be a way that he can get a Jelly kill, especially when you have the most powerful weapon paired with multi-attack IPs.
Yeah, Sky Sword Cancer or Sky Sword Hedora on the Jelly. If you don't have Decker Blade, having that on Decker is insane damage. So it's definitely a possibility if he doesn't find a Decker Blade at least. All right, now we're on Assassin floors. If you want to explain how those are the most fun enemies in the game.
Well, before we do, I think Solar is just about to avoid a Mimic. We'll see what floor he lands on. So he's still got 2 more floors of Mimics. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Assassin or Ninjas have the same sprite. And when they see you, they dash towards you 2 turns at a time. He's already at 38, so he's got 2 more floors of Assassins. Ninjas are by far more powerful because of a super powerful attack all they've got. They're coming up a little later. But even Assassins can hurt your timer and help you use up your resources.
Yeah, Assassins themselves aren't really too scary, but they do take a lot of time because they are really fast, so they'll always attack first. They're also really fast on the map because they take 2 steps for every 1 step you take, so sometimes you can't get away from them and just have to fight them.
So he just, Providence, it sounds like, was he in a situation where he was going to have to touch a Mimic? Okay, he just got healing already, so this may be the right... He loses his Thunder Ring.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt not having a Thunder Ring, because Thunder Ring is, like we said earlier, probably the best ring for the Jelly, besides maybe Trick Ring. It doubles the base power of Thunder, which doesn't quite make you do double damage with Thunder attacks, but for, the sake of speed, let's just go ahead and say it does basically double damage.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he was going to have to touch a blue Mimic there because he was just approaching the blue core floors. All right, so there's Cancer.
Yeah, that's nice. He's going to be happy you found that. Yeah, as you can see too, Travic Talk's just destroying everything with that Sky Sword. It's pretty beautiful to watch. Decker basically will one-shot everything for a lot of floors still.
So I am just now seeing the zap for Mrs. Mike, which was announced in chat over a minute ago. Does that mean I need to refresh my stream?
Well, no, because she probably got multiple zaps because she doesn't have Artie.
Oh, nice. So that's another thing we can talk about. If you find a spell and nobody in your team can actually use that spell, you can actually find it again over and over.
Yeah, and Zap is one of the coolest spells in the game, but only Artie can use it. And since there's no Artie in this party setup we're going to see a lot of Fries and Zaps probably, which are Artie exclusive. And that feels bad because it kind of takes up chests that you wish it didn't.
Of course, it rarely comes into play because it really mostly applies to when Artie's not in your team and you find Fry and Zap.
Yeah, she did just find Thunder though, which is the best tier 3 spell she can use for the Jelly and for most of the other stuff. So that's definitely nice. should allow catching up pretty easily. Firebird for Travistox. Travistox is looking really good right now. He's got a lot of stuff to work with, and he is now in the cave tile set, which is the final tile set you go into. Floors 41 to 98 are all the same tile set, and he's now trying to get green cores.
Solar just got another Thunder Ring, so he's not penalized for his Providence use there.
That's ridiculous.
Manipped.
Wow. Yeah, that's so good. He is so happy he found that. Ooh, Valor for Reflect. Valor is probably my favorite spell in the game. You can revive people with it. You can use it as a full party heal, and you can use it to completely demolish undead enemies too. And it's real expensive, but it's real powerful. So that is an amazing power.
Here's Traffic going for even more green cores. He already got one. Let's see if he gets one more. Of course, it's the one that's almost worthless to him that stays.
So we were mentioning about roadblocks earlier too. The next roadblock is actually coming up for Travistox. So we saw him fight assassins, which we said weren't too dangerous, but they can take time. But the next thing coming up is ninjas, which are the same type of enemy, but they are way stronger. And floors 44 to 46 have those, and they can wipe your party pretty easily, even if you have levels. So we're gonna hope things work out.
Yeah, there's a Deadly Rod for Travic, but did somebody say he equipped his Fatal Pick? We'll keep an eye on that here shortly.
Yeah, I didn't notice if you equipped it or not. Yeah, finding a Deadly Rod after you equip a Fatal Pick is not usually too fun because they do the same thing. Yeah, they do the same thing, except when you uncurse the Fatal Pick, it doesn't do anything, and when you uncurse the Deadly Rod, it actually gives you a nice option for the jelly. So you don't want to have to waste a curselet for going.
Because of that glitch you were talking about earlier, where stuff starts getting cut off at floor 10. There are some actually super rare items because you can only get them on like 8 or 9 or even just 9. Apparently somebody found a fake ring. We could talk about that, but it actually doesn't have a lot of use in the cave. We'll talk about it if it comes into play later.
Well, actually, fake ring could be nice here.
Yeah, no kidding.
To farm copper dragons later. So one of the things you're going to do before you fight the jelly is you're going to try and fill up everybody's IP bar so they can use all their abilities on the jelly. And farming copper dragons when you're not faster than them kind of sucks. But fake is a spell that increases your agility. And when you increase your agility to be faster than an enemy, you can defend before they attack, which makes you take less damage. And that's actually usually a strat for having the ladies survive powerful attacks and build up IP. So that could actually be useful in this specific party setup.
It gets pretty tricky. It's got to be an enemy that you get a surprise attack on. Plus, that means that either Maxim or Selen is going to have to be the one casting it in the first round, and then it doesn't take effect until the second round.
That doesn't have any deadlies equipped, it appears, which means that Deadly Rod is very nice. And if he finds a curse lifter, he's going to be happy to put that on, I assume.
That would be dank.
That would be dank. There's another Deadly Rod for Travis. Can only use one with this party, unfortunately, but...
So you can see one of the fun treasure rooms that Solar's having to traverse here. I think he's doing it for treasures. I don't see the stairs in there necessarily.
Yeah, it seems like he is for sure.
And on the first 9 floors, looting treasure rooms is a pretty good idea. There's some really cool stuff. The only issue, of course, is his timer. Since he's already Providenced out, we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he did Providence kind of late. I think it was post 30 minutes, so definitely want to...
There's another blue.
Ooh, Catfish Duel for Travistox. So we actually have a point incentive for that. if he uses the Catfish Jewel IP, he gets some free points. And it takes like
Catfished!
no IP, so yeah, we're probably happy to see that if we're Travis.
Yeah, that would be great for people joining us late, thinking that everybody just happened to choose this team on purpose. No, nobody's doing drugs today. It just happened to be randomized for all players.
Yeah, we spun a wheel at the beginning, and it shows this party setup. This party is not something you would want to use in a marathon on purpose, for sure. I guess technically, if you got like Lexus instead of Guy, it could be worse. But other than that, this is probably the second worst party setup you could have for a speed run or a marathon. Traffic Talk's farming Brins lizards right now. They drop a pretty good item called a Twist Jewel, which increases your agility a lot. And having a slow party like this, you definitely are going to want to try and farm a Twist Jewel. So
Yep, and it may be that with somebody experienced like Trav, as soon as he found out what his team was, it may have been kind of on his mind already. And he got the Twist drop.
Yeah, he got it.
Twist!
Yep, 30 agility. That is the highest you can get on a rock. And yeah, that's huge. He's very, very happy to find that.
Yep. So as I was saying, as soon as he found out his party, he might have already had it in mind that he wanted to get to the Brins lizards and have enough time to just farm as many as he could. Of course, that really only would help him to get 2 probably at this point. But that's huge because he's going to get to the point, he may already be there with his green core, that Selen gets into her good experience levels where she gains agility. And he is done with farming Brins lizards.
Yeah,
so,
he just skipped that one right there. So
he's really probably only looking to get Selen and her deadly rod faster than metallics and calling it good at that point.
ooh, wingers for Miss Mike. Those are not fun to fight. Oh, especially at level 4. So she did not get red cores, it seems.
So Marty, yeah, experience levels are random, but they're not. Is that right, Dank?
I believe so. I think they even out every so many levels. I could be wrong on that, but I think they even out like every 8 levels or something like that. To where they're basically the same always. But in general, each individual level is randomized, yes. So yeah, Mrs. Mike right here is definitely kind of, she's not in trouble yet, but she's definitely going to need to find something to get experience off of, because being level 4 going into the dungeon tile set is a little bit low.
It's a lot of bit low. Snakes for days. So Travis looking good here. I have a feeling Travic has a strategy in mind already that I don't, because I'm dumb. He skipped that second Brins lizard, even though he easily took care of the first pair since he already got his twist. He may have in mind what he plans to do later in the cave, and we'll keep an eye on what his strategy is.
It's possible. I personally think I would have just farmed as many of those as possible. But one thing that is kind of not looking so good for all the runners right now is that, as far as I know, we don't have any Decker Blades yet. And Decker Blade is the most important item for the jelly. It does 50% of the target's current HP in a single attack, which, when you only have 3 turns to do 10,000 damage, it's pretty important. So we're definitely going to be hoping that people find Decker Blade as they go on.
Yep, so Mrs. Mike's already in a tough situation with her low levels. Spinners are pretty tough as it is. Earth Vipers can do an attack all Sandstorm, which will just wipe her party, and really, here, this is probably super bad news for her.
Yeah, champion for Reflect, he's definitely happy to find that. But
and
yeah.
She did not have the magic to do Thunder with Selen.
Okay, no Sandstorms. Ooh, and Maxim speed ties the second snake. That's nice right there. Oh, but ooh. I think we're good. Nice. That's gonna be some decent experience
Yeah, that's going to be
gain.
big
She
boost.
really needed that. So far, Mrs. Mike and Solar Cell are still pretty far behind because they Providenced out, but they're definitely not out. There's plenty of time to get to the jelly. It definitely makes it harder with this party, but they can do it. So definitely
And that
keep
was
an eye on
amazing.
them
So
to get some
an
cool
experience
stuff.
level 4 Maxim went before an Earth Viper. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it speed tied them. One of them went first, and then he thundered before the second one did. That was pretty cool.
I'm guessing he had less agility and just rolled a first turn on it. That's awesome.
He's got to have some kind of agility item on, maybe, or also water gauntlet for traffic talks. That's
He's
nice
rocking.
to find.
Absolutely rocking.
Water gauntlet's a nice little glove that gives you an agility boost and also makes you take less water damage. So yeah, definitely happy to find that on a slow party.
And here's Traffic at the Sea Hedoras already. So he's trying to farm the next item that we're looking for as a drop, and that's the Hedora Rock, which you can get from Sea Hedoras or the High Hedoras that start on 458. And again, he's just trying to square away his team for a jelly kill.
Yeah, Hedora Rock is probably the best item he can get besides Decker Blade right now, because if you compare that with the Sky Sword, it'll be a very nice little jelly combo he can set up.
Oh, good job there by Mrs. Mike of manipulating the Dragonian to get out of her way. That's using the R button again. We found a way, not we, somebody did, found a way to use the R button to manipulate enemies that can be moved with your movement, but you don't actually move, you're stationary. And it's been an amazing find for manipulating enemies and making your way through the cave in speedruns.
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the most important things in the entire game to know.
Ooh, and Reflect is stuck in a ninja trap.
Yeah,
We'll
he
see.
is.
We'll
But
see if we can get out of this.
he could be in trouble if they give him some knife throwers, which is an attack all that has really high damage, but he does have decent levels, and Decker Guy are nice frontline tanks, so he should be okay.
He did do some preemptive healing here.
Yep.
Ooh, I think the person, he almost got insta-killed on the person who was doing his healing. So he is breathing a sigh of relief right now. I don't know what the success rate of guillotine is, but that could have killed his healer.
It's 50% because it either kills or it doesn't.
Yeah, and he just trashed the party now that he got all the way to Decker's turn, because that's what Decker does.
Decker's just Decker. That's really all we can say. So I don't think Traffic Talk's got a Hedora Rock yet, but we have more Hedoras coming up that have a higher chance to drop it than the ones he's been farming. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. After ninjas, you're not really in trouble of dying for quite a while, so people are going to have a lot of time to kind of just fight stuff for experience and get drops and open chests. So
yeah, that low level.
Mike.
Yeah, unfortunately, her low experience levels finally cost her. Did she end up getting any heal between her 2 attempts? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I think she had. She didn't have stronger the first time? I might be thinking of someone else.
I think that on his very first open, that Solar got stronger after he used his
Oh, okay.
Providence.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
So Reflect now doing exactly what Travic was doing just a little while ago, trying to go for that Twist Jewel drop. And we'll see if he can keep pace with Travic's hot start.
Yeah, Travic's looking real good. If Travic gets a Decker Blade, I think he's looking like he could probably get a kill as long as he doesn't get blocked by, like, you know, some of the later roadblocks that we'll be talking about as we get to them.
And even though I missed it, I can tell from the score sheet. If you want to keep track of our runners' scores, you can use the score sheet. Somebody could cue that up in chat now. But he did go ahead and use his Mega Quake IP attack to get his 5-point bonus with the Catfish Jewel.
Yeah, those birds that he's fighting right now, he's not in danger of dying, but they're not fun to fight because they attack so much.
They're hurting his timer. They're taking away a little bit of his resources, but since he's got Rally, it's not that big a deal when some of his characters fall.
Yeah, in terms of like being MP efficient, having like Rally Champion or Rally Strong is basically, as long as you find a couple of MP replenishing items, you're good to go as long as one of your casters is alive.
And we're coming up kind of on the halfway point here, 51 minutes. Again, some of the extra bonus things they're looking for are Iris Treasures, give them a bonus. Since they've got Seln in their party, if they find a Diamond Ring or Ice Hairband and then equip that on Seln, that's another opportunity where they could get a few bonus points. So we're keeping an eye on that as well. And like you said, still no sign of a Decker Blade, right?
I'm pretty sure chat would explode if they found one. So yeah, so far no Decker Blade.
They're just building the anticipation.
Yeah. And like we said before, it's possible to get the no Decker Blade kill, but it is not something you ever want to go for unless you absolutely have to, especially in a marathon, because killing the jelly without dealing 50% of its health in one attack is definitely not easy.
And that's what's so painful here is as awesome as Travic is doing, as lucky as he is, as skillful as he's been, he still is easily beatable because he does not have that Decker Blade, and whoever finds it has a shot. Now, considering we're all nearly to the halfway point, I think it's safe to say that Solar is kind of in a tough position here. You can see he's stuck in a tough treasure room. I think he's having to get through it, or maybe he just did. But he's going to have to make up some time.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to make up some time. It's totally doable still, but yeah, I think he's mostly just looking for items at this point still.
Mm-hmm.
This party more than any other, you're gonna want items to just get through the cave, basically, which is unlike your other parties where you have Artie who's fast and can cast all kinds of things, and your whole party's generally tanky. So normally you don't look for items just to survive, but in this instance, it's not a bad idea to try and just get whatever you can that can help you live against some of the stronger enemies.
Yeah, I think he's trying to live and then hope he can speed up later. Again, the Decker Blade might be the great equalizer for Solar.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't hurt. All right, now we see Travic talks on the high Hidoras, which, unlike the C Hidoras, which have a 15% chance of dropping the Hidora Rock, these have a 20% chance. And yeah, he's definitely going to want to farm these as much as possible if he can, because not only do they boost agility, but they give you the 3 attacks per turn for the jelly. 3 attacks per turn one time, but yeah.
Yep.
Still good.
And you may have noticed the Sky Sword did not do much damage there to High Hidoras. That's because they're protected against Thunder Elemental, but because he's got the Deadly Rod on Selin, and she's got so much agility now, it wasn't that big of a deal. And there it is, hitting again, so he's still looking for that Hidora Rock drop.
Ooh, Mrs. Mike taking a beating by Eagles right here.
USA.
Ooh, and we're on the final set of cores for Travic Talks. We got no cores, which finding these is huge because you don't get cores past floor 60. Green cores are still nice. So we got 2 of those. That's absolutely nice. He's happy to get that. But yeah,
Yep.
no cores. If you can get those, you are very, very happy. And he's on 60 now, so he's on the final floor for no cores. And he's also on the final floor where new items start spawning. So now, from now until the end of the cave, he has access to everything that starts spawning in the cave.
And he's on an amazing pace right now. He has over an entire hour to make it through the next like 39 floors. So he can take his time to get through a sticky situation. He can search for stuff. He can build experience levels. He can even hunt for gold if he is pretty daring. He's got a lot of options right now. We'll see what the cave has in store.
Reflect just found one of my favorite items, the Super Sword, which in this party actually is really, really good. It is a 3 times damage weapon for the jelly that also does holy damage, so you can kill undead with it. And yeah, Sealan can use it, so that is very, very, very nice.
And thank you earlier for pronouncing her name correctly, Salon. That was wonderful. And yeah, normally you don't see in a speed run a super sword because really it's only Tia or Selan who can use it. And it's not unusual for them to be using an uncursed deadly rod at the jelly. We'll see what's kind of in store for Reflect.
Well, actually, her name is pronounced Sealan, kind of like if you were to say sea and land together. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Don't at me, anyone that's upset by that. It's Sealan.
Then again, I thought Decker's name was pronounced Dakar, so what do I know?
Exactly. Okay, so Travicox is actually in kind of a nasty hallway here. You don't really want to fight Hedoras unless you get a guaranteed back attack. And I don't know if we mentioned what a 50-50 is earlier, but a 50-50 is when you attack the side of a monster, you get a 50% chance at a surprise attack. And losing that coin flip is not something you want to do on certain enemies, and high Hedoras are probably one of those enemies. But he manipulated it to the side, and there we go, free back attack.
And that's one of the benefits of having a bunch of time. If you could imagine Mrs. Mike or Solar later in their runs getting this deep, they might not have had the time to just run against the wall waiting for him to get in a position. They might have had to YOLO it. Ooh, Reflect is in trouble.
Ooh.
Oh, and his ice spells paid off there. He knocked him down enough to where his front row warriors finished the job, but that was close.
I want to address the official voice acting comment real quick, because as far as I have heard, the official voice actors for the remake also were given no voice direction, so they were kind of just sent a script and told to just kind of say everything, and I don't think that you can really take their pronunciation as canon, so I'm going to have to go ahead and say that it's still Sealan. Sealan. Anyway, that's enough nerd talk about how to pronounce her name.
No, I think we need to actually dedicate the next hour to nerd talk.
Okay, so if we're going to do that, so the remake is the best game ever made. And that's all I got to say about that. Yep.
You got any cops at your door yet?
They're on their way.
All right. Brace yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they're talking about how probabilities work. So in this game, there is a function in the hex code. The way that deadlies roll is that you have a 50% chance for the code to execute an instant kill on a deadly and a 50% chance for it to not, because it either does or doesn't instant kill. Some people will say that it's 80% chance to instant kill, but that's not true, because if you notice, it kills or it doesn't, and that's 50%. So,
what country were you schooled in?
USA.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so going forward here, it's looking kind of rough for Mrs. Mike. She could theoretically still make it to the end and kill the jelly, but it is very, very rough. She's on B8. There's a deadly rod, which will help, but with this party, getting there in about an hour is very rough. So we're going to hope for some good RNG for her. Solar Cell looks like he does definitely have enough time, though. I'm not sure what floor he's on because I don't know. Oh, he's on 32 to 34. So yeah, if he gets some good cores here, he can definitely make it all the way to the jelly, assuming he doesn't get any roadblocks. But right now, definitely the leaders are Reflect and Traffic Fox.
So, chat, am I correct in saying that Travik does not actually have a Hedora or a Cancer for his Sky Sword?
He has a Cancer Rock.
I remember he was trying from Garbos, but I didn't know if it actually worked.
I'm pretty sure he has a Cancer Rock, unless that was someone else. But I think it was. I think it was him that got one. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think we may have tricked ourselves by saying what an awesome strategy it was, and then not actually noticing if he got it. That's because we're awesome commentators.
Reflect got another Super Sword. Is that what chat's saying right now? Because he already had one.
Yeah, he did.
And she's the only one that can use it. So
yeah, we definitely had the Cancer written down
just
for
capsule
Reflect.
food. Oh, and as you can see right here, Traffic Talks is feeding his capsule monster. So maybe since you're the what do we call it? The God King of feeding capsule monsters, maybe you kind of want to explain how that works.
Sure, I can just say that it makes perfect sense, and it's so intuitive and user-friendly that anyone should be able to learn it easily. And clearly, Travik doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. So easy.
So we really do think that originally, I don't know, can't remember if it's true in other versions of the game. Wow, Reflect is getting planted here. But he's going to survive thanks to Durker. Even if he's confused, yes. That when the capsule monster requests something, it blinks, and that tells you you've got it in inventory. And if you feed it that item, it says yummy, and you get a bunch of bars. It doesn't quite work that way. It's not that you have to give it something that it's asking for. There are plenty other ways to feed. There are different tiers or levels of items based on their value in gold. And if you just memorize those, which is super easy peasy, you can feed a capsule from Form 1 to Form 4 without it saying yuck, and you're good to go. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. That's yeah. It's a little more difficult than that, but yeah, sure.
But really, if for anybody who's new to the cave, whether you're running it just for fun, if you're interested in getting speedrunning, there's tons of resources out there on the Discord channel. Feel free to join us sometime. We've got guides and charts and calculators and all sorts of tools for you to use to learn the cave as fast as you can to get up to speed with everybody.
Yeah, another thing too is, so Shadow Killer just linked the Discord right there. So if you are a fan of Lufia and you're not really into speedrunning, or you're, just casual, or even like any of the other games more, it's basically the most active Lufia community in existence right now. So definitely come by, say hi, and talk Lufia. It is a great community with tons of helpful people, tons of people that like all the games, tons of people that hate all the games but play them anyway. And
Reflect again, down to just Decker. He's really struggling with these plants, so I'm guessing his deadly is missing, and he doesn't have that great of weapons to kill them with.
Yeah, he has every healing spell except strong. That's not lucky at all.
But this is where the lack of agility is really coming into play, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So if you had Artie or Tia, they would for sure be faster than these plants, and you could kill one usually before they attacked. But the way this is going, he has to take a bunch of attacks or confuses or whatever before he even gets to attack. And then there we go. Then his deadly misses. is
The
not a
50% you were talking about.
Yep, 50%. If anyone looks at the deadly hit rate and tells me 80%, I tell them you gotta start wearing glasses because that's not true. It's 50%.
So Travik here is fighting Metallics. I didn't see if he was forced to, if he's just going for levels here. He might be going for the Dark Fruit. That's the fruit that it takes to get his capsule from this form. It's a little early, but even in this form for Flash or Darby, he can take the corresponding fruit and get them to master level. And Flash is actually one of the few, in my opinion, capsule monsters where the master form is the superior form. For some odd reason, fourth form for some capsules is actually the best.
Most capsules, I would even say, fourth form is almost always better than M, besides maybe, Flash and I guess Fumi if you get that 4% roll. That's about it though, right?
Yep. Yeah, Eve likes the underfed unicorn because she likes to abuse animals. As for me, I like to try to feed my animals so that their ribs aren't showing.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, Squealer is the god king of feeding capsule monsters, so they are definitely always well fed. But yeah, Flash M does look kind of anorexic. It is a little weird.
That was a healthy weight when you don't have McDonald's. Actually, we just don't recognize it as Americans.
Yeah, maybe. So Reflect here is trying to get past a dragon without, like we said earlier, taking the 50-50 on it, because 50-50s are not something you typically want to do against certain enemies. He wants to manipulate it into a corner right there and get the free back attack if he can.
And to me, the obvious difference right now, both Travik and Reflect are doing very well, but to me the huge difference here is Travik's got the agility uppers for Selene, and Reflect's not, and it's making a huge difference.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. As they get to higher levels, it won't be as noticeable, but for now, in these like mid-20 levels and stuff, having a twist jewel and a water gaunt and stuff on Sealant is so important that, yeah, like you see right now, Travitox is fighting the same kind of plants that Reflect was, and he is not having any trouble. Ooh, and Travitox doing your signature move.
Sweet. Now that
Yes.
one is actually also an RC move. RC found out that if Iron Gorm or a Warmeye is positioned in that position, and you're going upward through a door, that you don't even have to wait to see if it does the hiccup. You can just go.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I always wait for the hiccup because that's how you taught me.
Yep.
Yeah, Warm Eyes, by the way, they can be run enders, but typically they just take away all your time or your magic or something, and they're not fun to fight because they're decently fast. They sometimes get in your way to where you have to at least engage them, and there's usually 4 of them that all attack twice, so definitely not something you want to fight intentionally.
Yeah,
I guess they drop like high magic or X magic or something, though,
yeah.
don't they?
I think with this
Which
team,
can
though,
be
that
nice,
they
I
are
guess.
super dangerous.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, this team, I'm surprised at how, well, I'm not surprised at how much of a breeze Reflect is having right now, for the most part, because, I mean, it's Reflect. Has Reflect ever not PB'd in a speedrun? I don't think that's true.
I think he's going to PB in this. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. Probably true somehow. Travitox is doing definitely a stellar job, though. Hopefully, like we said earlier, we're still looking for that Decker Blade. If we can get that Decker Blade on anyone at this point, we're going to be very happy.
Followed by Thunderstorm? No. Escapes.
No, free IP farm.
So it just seems to me that Solar and Mrs. I'll have to maybe check it out later, are just not getting the stuff that they need to be able to move fast. Another curse lifter for Trav.
Is that
And
his second? Really? Does he have a deadly sword? Because this could be. He could actually be gearing up for a
gold bonus?
not a gold. Well, yeah, gold bonus too. But I was gonna say a no Decker Blade kill because he has Sky Sword and can't. I'm pretty sure he has cancer. Someone tell me he has cancer. Don't ruin my day and tell me he has nothing to go with the Sky Sword.
He's gonna get there with no fractionals. Well, he's got Uncur's Deadly Rod. That's not true. But as you know from Travik's first run last weekend.
Yeah, Cancer Rock. Sorry, I guess out of context saying, please tell me he has cancer. Don't ruin my day. Like that just sounds a little weird. What I meant to say was, please tell me he has Cancer Rock, which is a very good item for the jelly.
And from here on out, anytime we say cancer, we mean Cancer Rock.
Yeah, but if someone comes in late and they just hear me say, please tell me Travis Talks has cancer, don't ruin my day, that's going to sound a little toxic.
A little American. But yeah, last week Travis even had the Decker Blade, and he knew when he got to the jelly he didn't have enough to finish the job. It's got to be a combination of fractionals and finishers. He knew that, and here it seems like where he might be lacking is the big fractional. Yeah, and I see that. Yeah, Solar is still making his way through some of those early floors in the 20s, or maybe in the 30s now. Getting close to ninjas.
It's going to be pretty important going forward for the people that are behind to not have to fight ninjas or archfiends or anything that kind of really slows down the run, because we have about a little over 45 minutes left, and with this party it is not going to be easy.
Oh, absolutely, Hustler. Anytime I'm watching like an event or somebody else run it, really gets me in the mood for doing some caving myself. As far as the Angel Baby, the Bare Butt Cupid, that is Flash, the Holy Elemental Capsule monster that is rarely used in speedruns. She's pretty good, though.
Yeah, in casual playthroughs, she's actually, I would say, totally fine. She can do some pretty cool things, like the attack ups can help, the healing can help. But yeah, in speedruns, it's definitely not the optimal
yeah.
thing.
Yes, Sin, she is pretty good, especially when she learns some of her attack moves, which are Holy Elemental and can help you get some of those tough dark enemies. And that's right. Somebody did find an Ice Hairband. Who was that just now?
Solar.
Sweet. Now he is on Ninja Floor, so I'm also keeping an eye on that.
Ooh, and these are actually super deadly without.
Oh, that's right. I never thought of that.
Yeah, so these red plants right here, they all attack 3 times and they hit the same target until they kill it. Luckily, it just hit the front row and that was totally fine. But when you have Artie in your group, you can escape and run like half the time or more because his agility is so high. But in this low agility setup, it's actually rough having to fight those guys. You don't usually have to fight them, but sometimes they can get in your way. And like right there, they kind of just ran at him unexpectedly. So definitely hurts.
Here goes Reflect again with the plants. Go ahead.
I'm just saying he has to run by red plants again, and this is not something he wants to see. Luckily, he's
time sink and resources, and
luckily they just keep it in the front row though, just soaking up the damage on the tanks.
And I believe he's still on 44, so he's got potentially 3 floors of ninjas still to navigate through. That's right, Marty. Red plants focus their physical attacks, all 3 of them, on the same target unless you die, and can inflict status effects. But when you do have Artie, there's so many things that you can do. You can kill one usually with Firebird, you can use your Deadly on them, you can use status effects on them. So this party is a special a challenge for red plants. All right, Solar's already at 46, so he might be able to find the stairs here without having to have engaged any ninjas as I jinx him.
Yeah, it's funny because what I mentioned earlier was like, oh yeah, once you make it past ninjas, there's not really too much that you have to worry about for a while. You're kind of safe. And then like now that I'm thinking about it, that's definitely not true with this party because there's so much stuff that you can't run from that you normally can. And yeah, so it is definitely interesting to see red plants and like eyeballs and stuff be so bad.
And here's Travic on floor 70 trying to farm that dark fruit so he can get Flash, the master form. So we can see that unicorn.
Yeah, dark fruits, I think I want to say it's like 20% drop, so it's not too bad. And they're really not scary. Even with this party, they're not really that scary because you know, you can back attack them super easily, and if you have holy, they die easily. You can kill them with a deadly. They're not really that bad. So he's definitely gonna try and farm as many of these as he can for the extra points.
Yeah, and because he knows he's in such a good position, he's not even trying to get surprise attacks. He's just ramming into the side, hoping he can get surprise attacks.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome position to be in.
Also, is Sealand faster with all that stuff? Yeah, she is. Wow, nice.
Yep. So that gets her to where she can more quickly miss with her deadly.
Exactly. Ooh. Yeah, reflect. Yeah. So here's another thing where speed probably is going to play a huge factor.
Yep.
Reflect has to kill these gold Gorums, and they are horrible enemies if you can't kill them fast. Because if you have to fight them, they just do so much damage and wipe your party immediately.
He's got actually some pretty good stuff to beat him with, though. He's got a deadly, he's got a Buster Sword with a neutral IP attack. He's using his Gloom Jewel IP attack, which can cause instant death. And he's got another powerful neutral for the other, like for Decker. What was it exactly? I forget. Great Axe or something.
Reflect definitely knows how to deal with these, so he should be okay. But in general, these can be pretty nasty. Also, if you mentioned we called them gold Gorums, I don't think we mentioned this yet, but the single best thing about this game is that they mistranslated a bunch of enemy names because whoever was translating them was either lazy or had never heard of a fantasy monster in their entire life. So they should be gold golems, but they're Gorums because they just directly translated it from Japanese. You have a lot of other stuff that's mistranslated that's pretty funny. My personal favorite is there's a flower that's supposed to be called Rafflesia, but whoever translated it called it Lufia, which is just I love that one. That one's great. Yeah, you got Wybon instead of Wyvern. There's Leech instead of Lich. It's pretty great.
Well, yeah, okay. And then Orkies, which is kind of fun because that's a fun name now. I actually kind of prefer that now.
Yeah. And then yeah, obviously the famous Hedora instead of Hydra. Assassin instead of Assassin. Definitely a cool part about this game. I wouldn't have it any other way. Nice little treasure room for Solar that he probably does not want to be in at all.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to make up time. And Reflect actually did a really cool, I don't know what the weapon was that he used with it. He did a really cool strategy there against the gold Gorums. He used his Cancer Rock with Decker to get a 2x attack. And because the Cancer Rock can make your elemental attack neutral, he might have actually had an elemental weapon. I'm not sure, but either way, he had a great fight against those gold Gorums, moving right along.
Ooh. So Traffic Talks is now in the area of the cave that is basically the final huge roadblock, and he has to probably go through a treasure room of nasty enemies. So we're going to talk about these enemies now. The first one we have to mention is Archfiends. With this party, Archfiends are the probably scariest thing you're ever going to see in your life. Because in a typical marathon run, you can kind of get arty faster than Archfiends decently easy. And it's not really the same with Sealand. She will not be faster than Archfiends, I don't think, ever in a 2-hour run. Maybe with Dragon Spear, but then you can't deadly them. So yeah, we're definitely going to hope that Traffic Talks doesn't run into too much trouble with Archfiends. They are very tanky. They attack twice. They can cast spells with their attacks that hit your whole party. They follow you forever around the floor, and yeah, they're just all bad. Also, Iris Tiara 4 reflects, so that's some points.
And if Traffic doesn't get the dark fruit here, he's probably getting a little bit irritated. He gets it! So we're gonna see the underfed unicorn here momentarily. Again, this is...
He almost fed it right away.
Oh.
Okay, that would have been real sad, but yeah, anyway, he's going to feed up his capsule monster to the maximum form, which is part of the rules. You can feed Flash to M form without making them form 4, but in the rules for this, to make it even, no matter what capsule you take, you have to feed them all the way up to form 4 before you're allowed to get the points for master form. So he's going to be feeding that relatively soon, I assume, and then using the dark fruit to get master form Flash.
Yeah, I'm not... I wonder if he's confused here.
Oh, he did feed one, because he has 2. That was what happened. Got it.
Am I misunderstanding how this is supposed to work?
Misunderstanding what?
I better not say anything else right now. Strategically speaking.
You talking about the genie fight?
No, I'm talking about what it takes to master form Flash or Darby.
Oh, because you feed the fruit to form 2, you only have to...
Yeah, you might not...
Is it form 2 or form 3?
Yeah, you
whatever
might not
form it is.
In case audio is on, you might not want to say anymore.
Well, I mean, they know.
Okay. I might have it wrong. Yeah, it was just last year that somebody, it might have been Travic, told us that you don't actually have to feed all capsules to 4th form to be able to master form them. It turns out with Flash or with Darby, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wasn't something that, like, nobody knew, but it definitely was not common knowledge before that, and that was definitely something that, once it became common knowledge, was nice to know. Ooh! That's gonna be another death for Mrs. Mike right there. The Lions absolutely obliterated her right there. Yeah, and with that, that's probably... I mean, she can go in and keep trying to get more and more points, but at this point, she probably, unless she gets like world record pace run right now, she's probably not going to be able to make it to the jelly. So either she's going to call it here, or she's going to maybe go in and try and just get some more points.
Here's Archie Leech combo for Reflect with his lack of agility, and Guy is not healed. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, this is all bad. It looks like he'll be fine.
Yeah, he just was hoping for no double thunder there.
Ooh, last miracle, and 1 regain left. So, Reflect is running low on ways to revive if his casters die. So that is not good. He has to re-engage them one more time, and he's doing a run with both. So he should be fine unless this destroy kills Decker, which it does!
Holy. Ooh, okay, no thunder yet.
He's still okay. Yeah, he's still okay, but that was close for
that
sure.
was some bad luck. And then good luck. and that's the game.
And that's the game. So yeah, it's looking right here that Mrs. Mike is calling it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say GG. GG's in the chat to Mrs. Mike. It was definitely a good run.
Just
She's
really
a
bad
very
luck
new runner
with-
to even make it. Yeah, to make it to the wild cards and even truck on through all that bad RNG. That is definitely very, very commendable. So yeah, GG's for Mrs. Mike for sure. Oh, not Mike. Travis Talks pulled an
Ooh,
Archfiend.
a double Archfiend. They were
He's-
on the stairs, so he kind of had to, but I'm not sure he had a strategy in mind before he activated one. We'll see what he
it
does
looked
here.
to me like he accidentally pulled it from where it was. Yeah, and the other one is still on the stairs. This is... Ooh. Well, let's hope RNG is good to Travis right now, because he is in a very, very difficult situation to progress right now. Destroy, killing Maxim. Gloomy is better than Thunder, but still a lot of damage.
Yeah, and it didn't look like he necessarily has a path. If he escapes, that he has a path straight to the stairs. He's still going to have to do some maneuvering here. Yep.
Yeah, this is rough. Hopefully that other Archfiend is Ice Rogues. So there are other enemies. They are Ice Rogues. That's amazing. So Ice Rogues, when you see these, when you engage Archfiend sprites and you see these enemies, these Ice Rogues, you're just so happy because they're easy to kill.
And that was easy to overlook there, but he actually did a really good sword swipe there to ensure that if these weren't Ice Rogues, he would only be engaging them one time, at least as he goes across the top of the screen. He's still got some ways to go here.
Yeah, so now that there's only one Archfiend sprite left in this room, he should relatively easily be able to get to the stairs.
Did he, Eve? Eve is saying that Reflect used Thunder on a Wind Genie. How much?
Ooh, I think Travis Talks lost count. Oh, no, wait, maybe he's good.
I just don't... Yeah, I'm not sure what he can do here. We'll see. He has the chance here to be hero to everyone.
He is a hero. Nicely done. to Travis
Super
Talks
nicely
right there.
done.
That
I
was
don't think I could have done
beautiful.
that. I suck at that.
I want to say he got lucky and lost count a couple times, and then it happened to be on the right move. But
That's true. Maybe
Maybe
if
it
he were
was
an
intentional.
American, yeah, I think if he were from U.S., that would definitely be the case. That he would have skilled it.
Okay, so one more thing that people are going to be looking to farm here is on Reflect screen. You can see he's engaging Gorgons. These drop a rock called the Gorgon Rock, which gives you a nice little fractional attack. It does 1/8 of the target's current HP in a single attack. So when you're low on fractional damage or percent HP damage, it is nice to try and farm one of these because they'll give you some decent experience. They're not really scary, and like I said, that Gorgon Rock is nice for the jelly. So I'm going to be looking for that.
And I don't really know how technology works here, but did we manip out the Decker Blades?
Yeah, that was the other thing about the wild cards. So
Oh, okay, good. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, Shadow forgot to mention that part. Yeah. Surprise. All right, here we are on Copper Dragons for Chavik Talks. These are basically what you're going to try and farm your IP on. And, ooh, Cinder Blast. Oh, his Deadly must have missed. Isn't he scary? Okay, he's all right. Oh, there he goes. Full IP. Nice.
And just like that. He's still a ways away from the jelly, though. But
yeah, it's a little early to farm IP. I don't think that's what he was intending to do.
no, I don't think so either.
Actually, Tia would have survived that Shadow because with a Twist Jewel and a Water Gaunt, he would have for sure been able to defend with Tia, which would have been fine. So.
And Reflect just found an
Old
old sword to pair with his Cancer.
Yeah, Old Sword is a good item if you have a Cancer Rock. It's good anyway, but with Cancer Rock, it really pushes it to top tier because you can use the Old Sword, which does 1/6 of the target's HP in an attack. And then you have enough IP left over to use the Cancer Rock after. And the Old Sword is a high attack power weapon, so it's really good with the Cancer Rock. So yeah, he's definitely very, very happy to.
And so, Sin, are you keeping track of some items kind of on a piece of paper there? I've got Reflect with Cancer plus Old, an Uncursed Deadly Rod, and then I don't know if he's found Dragon yet for his watering.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else he has.
So while we're
Does
paying
have
attention,
Dragon. Okay, yeah,
Oh.
then he's looking pretty decent. Yeah, Dragon is water
and
element.
that's right, Marty. The only reason we're mentioning it is because we know he has the Water Ring, which amplifies its use, and it could be useful as a kind of a supplementary attack against the jelly.
Yeah,
Now, while
normally
we-
Dragon's like the worst, one of the worst like spells you want to use for damage on the jelly. But with a water ring, it makes it, you know, totally passable, so that's fine.
And while we were kind of watching the other runners, Solar is actually into the 60s now, I believe.
Yeah, he definitely still has a chance. I would not count him out. He just, we don't want him to get blocked by like Archfiends and stuff, because that could kill his run at this point with only about 30 minutes left. So definitely gonna hope for good RNG for that. But in general, yeah, he totally still has time to get to the jelly.
All right, Shadow, I see it. So the numbers by the names, that's the scores. This is that each runner has 2 hours in which to accumulate the most points. Now, of course, beating the jelly is worth the most points, and that's ultimately your goal. But there is a scoring system. And to check out, as it says in chat, how the runners will be earning points and current point totals, you can click on that link to follow along and see what the bonuses are.
Yeah, so we mentioned this earlier, but for anybody that's new here, this is it has a timer, so it's kind of a little bit of a speed run, but in general, it's more of just a points-based tournament, and it is absolutely accessible to new runners and stuff like that. We do this every year, and it's really a nice showcase for the community because you get all kinds of skill levels, and it's evened out by the kind of the point incentives and stuff. So the numbers by the names kind of show you where everybody's at right now. Mrs. Mike bowed out a little bit early because of some bad RNG, but everybody else is still in the running for first place, which will get them a pass into the finals, which will be next.
And yep, you can win your round without beating the jelly, but that's pretty much assuming that nobody else in your round does. And we did see it in the fourth group that happened last weekend. But of course, we hope that doesn't happen again, and we love our jelly kills.
I think it also happened in the first group, right? Because Travic got
You may
second
be right.
because, or no, I can't remember. Travic killed himself on the jelly though, right? For the 20 points? Or was
Yep.
that someone else? Yeah.
And of course, these runners right now are really at a disadvantage because they didn't get to choose their teams. So jelly kill is going to be pretty tough to come by, especially when the cave is being so stingy with the Decker Blades.
Yeah, getting this late into the cave, like where Reflect and Travic are, without a Decker Blade, it becomes marginally, but still harder and harder to find a Decker Blade because of all the extra items that get into the pool as you progress. So it's kind of probably stressful for them right now to not have one yet. Hopefully, I mean, you can find a Decker Blade on the last floor. You don't want to see it there. You want to see it earlier, but you know, anyone can still get it. We're gonna hope for that.
Well, I was referring to this particular wild card. We've not seen a single Decker Blade, a Myth Blade, a Gades Blade. I'm not sure anybody
Oh,
has
yeah,
a
yeah.
Ghidorah.
That's because you took them all last week. Now I remember. Didn't you
Don't
get
know
like
what you're
6 Decker Blades?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever, dude.
I skilled it so hard.
All right, so another thing we're going to want to keep an eye on here is Reflect and Travic both have more than enough time to farm the 700,007 gold incentive, which is 10 points, which is pretty nice. So keep an eye on their gold as they're going forward. Dragons give a lot of gold, so it's pretty easy with this much time on these floors to kind of get your gold up.
So he's...
Ooh, is Travitalk's gonna have enough stuff? He should have enough stuff to make it, right? Ooh, no, he's kind of low. So he needs to fill that bar up with items all the way to the end before he can get the M form bonus for the points. He has 6 bars left to feed, but I don't know if he has enough. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it quite yet. Oh, wait, no. Oh, he doesn't want to feed the super sword, though, because he probably needs it. Myth for solar. That is the second best fractional weapon in the game. So Decker Blade does 50% of the target's current HP, and Myth Blade does 25%. So that's the second highest. That is an amazing item to find. So, like we said earlier, he's not out of it even though he's behind. And Myth Blade will definitely help him catch up. Ooh, Reflect, though, getting frosted by Wind Genies. Or not Wind Genies, Well Genies. Herder. Ooh, Frost again. If he gets double frosted, it could hurt him pretty badly. Also, the genies steal your magic points, which you can see is happening to Sealan right now. Double frost. Big yikes right there. Hopefully he found more miracles and... Yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah, so he's not out of options to revive yet, but that definitely does take a toll on his resources right now. You see Travitalk's now farming for the Gorgon Rock still. Okay, so Travitalk's is on floor 85. 86 now. 86 means he has... Oh, there's more stairs, so he's going to be on 87. 88. 88 is the last floor, or is the floor where you're free of archfiends and genies and stuff. So once you make it there, it's a huge sigh of relief, because the rest of the cave is generally easy to move around in. There are scary enemies, but they're not too dangerous in terms of running into them.
And there are scary situations, but those are pretty rare. And Solar is still not out of this. He got the gold eye bonus.
That is nice.
Follows it up with an old armor, which is like a get out of jail free card in certain situations. So we'll see. His might be the most exciting coming down the stretch here. And let me explain a little bit, since we've kind of got a break in the action. The old armor is a get out of jail free card because it's got an IP effect called, I believe, regeneration, or is that the ruse armor?
Something like that.
But it takes like all your IP while raising everyone in your party who's fallen and giving them full health. So as you can imagine, against like something super powerful, and Decker being a tank, he could save the day.
Okay, so here we go. Travitalk's is feeding his capsule monster to 4th form, and now he will be feeding it the dark fruit to get the M form points bonus, or whatever it's called. And as you can see, here we go. Got the little underfed unicorn.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry for being vague earlier and just kind of weird about my comments. It sounds like maybe the runners were given the direction that they did have to feed Flash to 4th form before master forming.
No, they did for the points. That's what I was saying.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, that was part
Is
of
that
the
on the
rules.
Is that on the sheet?
Yes.
I
It's
don't know how to
because
read.
we were, American education or whatever. But anyway, yeah. So you have they have it that way because you can feed Darby and Flash to M form without feeding them all the way to 4th. But in order to make it fair to the runners that take the other capsule monsters for point incentives, they make it so where everyone has to feed to 4th form, basically. Because otherwise, you could get just such free points for the others. You know what I mean? Yeah, it isn't really balanced like that. Ooh, Archfiend for Reflect. He should be okay, but this is not something he wants to fight regardless.
And there's actually a new tech that he might have been able to use there. Once again, this game is like 25 years old practically, and we're still learning new movement techs for these enemies. There's maybe one he could have used there that we just learned a few months ago from RC, who figured out the movement pattern for chariots, but it looks like he's going to maybe make it through here. He could have maybe limited his exposure to just one engagement with these enemies. Would have taken some time, though, potentially.
Yeah, so Travitalk's looking right now to farm, Dragon Spear for Reflect. So that would have been nice 80 floors ago. It's not as important now, but...
And it's so tricky because you want your Deadly Dealer to probably be selling, but in order to get the agility boost, you got to have the Dragon Spear equipped, so...
Yeah, she's the only one that can wear it in this party, so it's, yeah, definitely tough. Definitely something you want earlier just for the escapes, and then you kind of equip the Deadly on over it later, but so deep in the cave, it doesn't really help that much.
So Travik's not willing to sell out completely going for the gold bonus, at least, because he ran away from the gold dragons. I do not blame him for that.
Yeah, if you had like Tia or Artie in the party, you could get, a Deadly in on the second round, but I don't know what Sealand's agility is, and I don't think she's faster. She might be, but ooh. Travitalk accidentally walks face first into a gold and silver dragon. This actually could be the end of his run right now. These enemies are very dangerous.
He tries to escape. Ooh.
Oh, Decker might live. If we don't get a Stardust Blow, I think we're good.
This is incredible.
Double zap. I think Decker lives.
I think
it's
so.
Gonna be hard.
Avoid the Stardust Blow. That's amazing.
Ooh, and Guy lives in the front row. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Lucky there. He is probably sweating right now after that.
That was awesome. That's what we're looking for. Exciting moments.
Yeah, that was scary. For sure. Okay, so Reflect now also passed Archfiends. He is in the final stretch of the cave. 88 to 98 are the only sprites left are the dragons and the dark summoners, which both are scary and you don't want to have to fight unless you're absolutely prepared.
So we've got less than 20 minutes remaining now, and these guys still need to find stuff to beat the jelly with. So there's going to be a lot of chest opening, I believe.
If Krieg or Shadow is in chat right now, could you address that last question? In the point spreadsheet, it says the Darby Flash feature is now allowed feed in second form to immediately jump to M form. Would that not mean that they don't need to get all 4 forms? I was under the impression that they did, but
and I was under the impression they didn't. That's what I saw.
Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just stupid. I'm probably just stupid. Okay, so what are their gold at? Are they going for the gold still? Can't really see their gold unless they show me the menu.
Yeah, after what happened to him with the gold and silver, I really would doubt he's going for the gold bonus. But if he's got his score sheet pulled up, he may be just trying to get as many bonus points as he can. He knows he doesn't have a kill right now. He does not have a Myth or a Decker or a Hedora. I don't think he's got Cancer Rock.
He does have Cancer Rock. For sure
Okay.
he does. So that is definitely at least something. But, I mean, what? Uncursed Deadly and Cancer Rock is absolutely not enough, so... Might have more. I'm pretty sure we have some people keeping track of the items. We also got some decent levels here. Travital's level 39, which is a very, very good level, especially if you're having Decker do like flat damage on the jelly, because his strength stat scales really, really high. Ooh, and this could be the end for him also. So he has Dark Summoners stuck in the doorway that he has to engage in order to get them out of the doorway. These guys attack twice, they usually attack all, and they do a lot of damage. So let's hope that he lives here. Decker is really tanky, so he could be okay as long as the rest of his party doesn't die. When you do an AoE spell like they're doing now, Dark Aura and Bolt, actually I don't think Dark Aura, but Bolt, the less targets it hits, the more damage it does. So as everyone dies, it's going to start doing more and more damage to the people remaining. This could kill Decker.
Ooh. Yep.
That is amazing. Another
tank man.
lucky...
Super tank man.
Yeah. Decker is
best wife.
Decker's
totally.
just the best. Yeah, best girl. Well, he's sweating even more profusely than he was before. We have about just under 15 minutes left. Solar is on Gorgon, so he's decently close to the jelly, but he's gonna have to book it for sure if he wants to make it. I'm not sure what he has other than the Myth Blade. Oh, he has the Thunder Ring also, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he got Thunder to go with it either. But it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to open much either, so he's really in a tough situation here.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, using Destroy also is going to cost him some time. It is maybe necessary for him to kill these, but Destroy is definitely an animation he doesn't want to use if he doesn't have to.
So even though we love our jelly kills, this is still pretty cool because nobody's got a Decker Blade. And I don't know that anybody has a jelly kill, so they've got to now be thinking about strategies for gaining points. Is it opening chests? Is it killing dragons for more gold? What can they do? Anything they can do to boost their point totals. This is getting kind of interesting.
I imagine everyone that doesn't have a jelly kill, or at least I imagine if Travitalx and Reflect both don't have jelly kills, they're both going to self-destruct on the jelly for the 20 points.
Yep.
If you kill your party on the jelly, the game is tricked into thinking that you won. It's not allowed for completion in any percent, so it doesn't really count as beating the jelly in this, but we do allow points for at least using the glitch for a little bit, like 20 points in case you can't kill the jelly. So,
and Solar is just going to try to truck this leech here. He didn't even try to go around it. He's just going for YOLO strats.
Yeah, he kind of needs to at this point, so I don't blame him. It is getting very, very tight on time.
Ooh. So his Deadly and his Destroy missed the Archfiend. The Archfiend's going to get 2 more turns. But Decker's probably going to be Decker again.
I don't know. Decker's the less than half already, though. Mm. This is not good. Decker's dead. No Cruel Storm. Okay, he's fine. That was rough. Or is he? Ooh.
Ooh.
That is
still alive, but 11 minutes.
Poison 3 HP guy.
So
Yuri, it might not be an actual glitch. It might be intended to kill yourself on the jelly to get the win, but we consider it a glitch, or at least we consider it not allowed in the any percent speedrun. So, I mean, it is what it is, but it might not be a glitch, no. Okay, we see Reflect up here farming IP. Hopefully he has what it takes to kill the jelly from here. There's a Cinder Blast, that's what he's looking for. That should fill his IP up. Oh no, Decker has something. Does he have a Bolt Shield on? He has to have like a Bolt Shield on, huh? Decker took almost no damage from that Cinder Blast, so he didn't build almost any IP from it.
of course, we don't know exactly what he's going for since he doesn't have a Decker Blade. No, he is going for full IP.
See that basic attack from that very, very powerful attack. He did 11 damage to Decker. So
he gains it right
he's
back.
about to unequip it. Yeah, he's about to unequip it. Yep, Bolt Shield right there. He's removing it. Otherwise, it'll take him forever to build IP, so this is definitely the right move.
Yeah, so right here, Reflect definitely prefers his Decker to be naked.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully he can get this IP quickly because time is definitely counting down. I'm not sure what floor he's on, but I'm assuming he has plenty of time to make it to the jelly. And if you were here, or if you weren't here for the rules, they don't have to kill the jelly before 2 hours, though there is a bonus point incentive for that. But they do have to get to the jelly before 2 hours. Once they get to the jelly, they have all the time they need to just sit there and consider setups and all that stuff. So I'm assuming that they both will have enough time. A little under 9 minutes, but they're relatively close, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Yeah, and you're going to see our runners playing with Fire Sin. Again, I don't think anybody's set up for a kill, and like Dank was kind of pointing out, we may be looking at other bonus points that they're looking to get.
Yeah, Reflect's still having a little bit of trouble farming IP. The Copper Dragon isn't really cooperating with him right now. He really needs it to either Cinder Blast or Basic Attack Decker, and it is doing nothing. Oh, no, there's the Cinder Blast. So that should fill up everyone on IP, and I think he's probably going to just run to the jelly.
That's right, Ellie. He just wanted to make sure his IP is in position so that when he does get his super duper Reflect luck, he can go ahead and make the kill.
Okay, I'm going to start watching the floor numbers now because I have not really been paying attention. Kind of been looking all over the place. Okay, so Traffic Talks is on 94, which is good, and Reflect is on 94 as well. Okay, so they're like exactly tied, and they are looking for any help they can get on the jelly. Okay, so Traffic Talks also has over 700,000 gold, which means he has the point incentive for.
Yeah, and that's amazing with this team. I wouldn't have thought that would have been something you go for or could even get, but I think with just those agility uppers and a deadly on Selin, he was able to pull it off. Also, with him going fast early on, it put him in the position to get those bonus points, which might be what pushes him through to the finals.
Possible. It's all going to come down really to what we see at the jelly. I haven't, like I said, it's kind of hard to keep up with so many runners, but I'm pretty sure neither of them really have a kill. So I assume that they're both going to self-destruct at this point, but I could be wrong.
Loving these YOLO strats by Solar, but he is now down to almost 6 minutes.
Kind of close, though.
Yeah, I mean, he could make it there, but he might know that he's just not going to be able to pull off a kill like the others, he may need to look at other strats.
If he doesn't already have IP, he pretty much doesn't have time to farm it now either. So that's he's basically at this point looking for getting there and self-destructing and hoping that that gets him enough points. Maybe finding an iris treasure or something on the way.
And of course, if he gets to the jelly before the 2-hour mark, he has enough time that he can do whatever he needs to do to prepare. But I don't think he actually has, for example, a dark fruit.
Well, he will get he has another 10 points to get that the others already have by reaching floor 91. So that, keep in mind that Solar Cell, if he makes it to 91, will be at 105, which is actually higher than Reflect is at this point. So it is still definitely possible that Solar can pull out a win. He just needs some good RNG, some good floors.
Some good stairs.
Yep. He's getting some good stairs, it seems, too. It's getting down to the wire. Yeah, big shout outs to Roth also for putting the jelly bot into the chat. I think it's pretty fun. Okay, guys, we're hoping for a Decker Blade here in the last floors. Honestly, there's not really much to say from here on out. They're just hoping for Decker Blade and hoping to get there. Nothing really in their way, nothing really else to look for.
So for those of you that do have the score sheet pulled up, if you want to see who is currently in the finals already, you can click on the Grand Finals tab at the bottom of the sheet. And right now it's 3 Americans, an Aussie, and we'll see if a German joins them.
Also, I'm going to give one final shout out to the Ancient Cave Discord. It is the best resource for anybody interested in running the cave or even just talking about Lufia in general. I mentioned earlier, it's basically the most active Lufia community around still. And it's not just for speedrunners or not just even for the Ancient Cave, though it's mainly centered around that. So Shadow Killer just linked it in chat. If you're interested in the Ancient Cave or Lufia in general, go ahead and join it. We are a pretty great community. So I highly recommend it if you have any interest in that.
And if you don't already, consider following Lufia 2 on Twitch. There are people streaming the cave essentially every single day.
Yeah, Ancient Cave speedrunning in general has become one of the more popular, I guess, RPG speedruns in the last few years. There's definitely like always someone running it, so that's pretty nice. Nice to see. Luffy is still alive and kicking.
Solar with the Dragon Con, but he's got the easy escape.
So actually make it to the jelly. That will be amazing. Oh, and we have Reflect here on the jelly. Let's see what he's got for equips. This is...
Yeah. I think he knows the deal here.
Oh, yeah. It looks like here we're going to be seeing a self-destruct on the jelly. Unfortunately. Ooh. At the very end. That was so close, though, and such a great comeback, to be honest. Like, wow.
Going out in spectacular fashion.
GG.
Like a champ.
GG's in chat for Solar. That was definitely very, very impressive, being able to recover like he did and almost make it to the jelly in the last 2 minutes. So, big GG's to him. All right, let's see. Reflect's killing himself, or what the hell is he doing?
So yeah, this is pretty. I mean, think Decker Blade is really not actually that rare. It's about on par with the rarity of like a hand axe, I believe. And
It's
none of our
definitely
runners found one today. Ooh, an iris. Now he gets an iris bonus.
Oh.
So Solar still boosting those points technically right now, has more than Reflect, but that's about to change. I think.
Yeah, it looks like Reflect is getting the kill now on himself. Yeah, and there you go. So he gets those bonus points. So GG's to Reflect right there, doing the best that he can, getting those points. I believe, yeah, that puts him in second place no matter what. I guess Solar, no, it's time's over for Solar now too. So Traffic Talk, I guess, regardless of what happens here, goes on to the finals. But big GG's to Reflect for that. That was definitely a very impressive. But being able to get to the jelly in a marathon with that party is very impressive.
Super good.
So yeah, GG.
And
Yeah,
he never
that
even
was
got the
awesome.
agility uppers. What might have made the difference here is the master forming.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, or at the very least, the bonuses, the gold and stuff like that. So the bonuses did make a difference here.
Yep, Traffic Talk's also going for the self-destruct on the jelly, so that looks like that's going to be an easy one as well. So
All right, so coming up here shortly is going to be the finals. It looks like Travic's going to advance. And as you've pointed out, Dank, I didn't notice it at first. All 5 of our runners in the finals have a sub-1 any percent time. So it's some of the best runners in our community.
yeah, it's going to be an intense final. So definitely stick around for the finals. It should be very, very